Man, the Yuri bait and vibes are in full force with episode 3 of Flower and Asura. My gosh. Like I said before, if you've not watched Sound Euphonium, don't ship it. Don't you ship it, because this writer is not going to deliver that for you. But no, I got a lot of Sound Euphonium vibes from this episode. In jest. Like, is Hiromi actually the Taki sensei of this series? And does Mizuki secretly like him? No, not happening. But I do like the relationship. I like the two of them and what they've kind of present in this episode. It really is getting a sense that Mizuki has family problems. My assumption is that she probably has an issue where probably her mother and father has divorced. She had a really big falling out with the two of them. She decided to live on her own going to high school. And that's why it kind of gives that sense of like, it's complicated. She doesn't want to bring it up. I'm not gonna talk to you about what's going on with my parents. Things are complicated, but I have freedom now. But you get a sense here that she's probably lonely. There's almost an underlying sense that she's trying to make it like she's okay. And she's not okay. Obviously, she's not okay. Somebody like that in that situation, no matter how you paint it, she's not going to be okay. But it does give a sense, like with that brief shot of her in the past, that yes, she joined the broadcasting club in order to help Setaro and Ryoko, but she joined it without like giving it much attention. Like she wasn't taking it seriously. She literally just came in there thinking, this stuff's stupid. It's gonna be fine. I can knock this stuff out. She downplayed it, and then at some point, Hiromi gets up on that stage and blew her away. And that's where she got that sense of wanting to do something and take it seriously. But I really do feel like she probably came there pretty much like a brat kid. She was in there just like, whatever, this is this dumb thing, but, Setaro and Ryoko want to do it, so whatever, I'll be here for them. And then suddenly he shows her what it's all about. And that's where it kind of corrected her. I really do think that she probably... she gets a sense out there, like, I think at the very beginning, like, he's very, he's very good at what he's doing, but I just kind of hate him. She respects him, but at the same time, she doesn't like him. So there is a sense here that she probably got a little bit of her correction in her path in life because of him. I think he ended up becoming kind of a mentor for her to kind of help correct her, because I think all signs are pointing she probably used to be pretty much a brat, which again, probably due to her own family problems. So it's a cool little setup they're having there, and I really do like what they're sort of painting their relationship as so far, which does seem like it's kind of being kind of tossed over to On in a little bit of a sense here, because yes, opening up this episode, really interesting analysis that he does. Obviously, again, we get the introduction of who Hiromi is, or Kichichoji. Kichichoji is their advisor for both these clubs. And yes, it really does feel like he's coming in there to bait them. Like, literally, if you ain't catching that by the first, 5 minutes or so, he's literally baiting them into taking it seriously. He's coming in there going, you don't want to do this stuff. Come do the drama stuff. Come over here and do this. I think he probably, I get a sense here that he probably doesn't take the drama club as seriously as a broadcast club, which makes sense. This school looks like they have an extremely expensive club. And yes, he has taken other schools to the nationals. He takes it seriously. He does it himself. And he's apparently very, very good at it because he blew away Mizuki. He's very good at it. He's done it before. He's gotten people to the nationals. He takes this stuff seriously. And so I think him coming in that room, he immediately was like, I'm going to come in there pure aggro. Yes, a lot of it's passive aggressive. This dude's a master of passive aggressiveness. He's coming in there with some aggressive nature and the idea of like, drop this crap. You guys don't take this stuff seriously. He's trying to bait them into saying, no, I take it seriously. Oh, you do? Well, let's see if you do. Oh, okay, well, I analyzed your stuff. You don't do good. You don't do good. You don't good. He basically burned down everybody. And it was all the sake of really baiting them. Mizuki, again, she even admits herself. She fell right into it again. He's good at baiting them into taking it seriously. And again, that's the kind of that whole sense that I get of like with Sound Euphonium. I get that sense of like Take Sensei, this idea of, do you want to? Because if you do, it's going to be harsh. I do respect that. That was one of the things that I did like about Take Sensei, even though I hated the fact that he was never in the damn classroom to actually teach them anything. He was the worst teacher. He literally was never there. That was my biggest beef with that character in Sound Euphonium. Hiromi so far seems like he's being present. He's probably going to disappear after this episode. We'll see, but kind of get the same similar sense there. Is that idea of like, do you want to take it seriously? Are you ready for this? This is going to take commitment. This isn't a game. We're not here to play. Let me show you what you can do, and do you want to do it? Because it's either one way or the other. Now, yes, technically with Hana, she's like, is it okay just to do it for fun? And he's like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. And of course, we get a sense at the very end that that's not really want something that Hana wants to do. It's just that she's afraid of trying. And that's, I think, a decent story for her as well, which we'll get into in a minute. But again, there's a side of me that I didn't like the evaluations just because of how blunt it is. But again, this is one of those cases where, what do you want? In the end, you have to decide now, which again, very much so the vibes of this writer and how they kind of play out these kind of scenarios is that great question at the very beginning, before we get started with anything, do you want to take this seriously? Because if you don't, let me know. Let me know if I need to put dedication in this. Let me know if I need to be rude. Let me know if I need to be blunt about this stuff. Granted, he was blunt from the very beginning. But no, going through each one of them, I like the fact that he, right off the bat, noted Shudai. Knew from the very beginning, nope, this is not something you want. I like irrelevant. My analysis of you, you're irrelevant because you just don't seem like you're interested at all. Nope, obviously because he's into sound effects. He wants to do sound effects. He doesn't want to do reciting. Okay, go to the next one. Let's go to On. On, yeah, she's really good. She's been doing it for a while. She's got the skills. She's got the talent. She's been practicing for a long time. She's done this before. She's been around this block. But her smugness, her smugness is irksome. She's got this thing about her that she is full of herself, and it's off-putting. I kind of want to go back and listen to that segment when she first does her announcing, technically, of Matsuyuki, and if there was a sense of that in there, like she got a snappiness to her, which I can totally think if I can go back there, I would probably be able to pick up on it in her tone, because there is sort of a sense there that you can pick up on. So that was actually very interesting to kind of note that of her, even though she doesn't want to, she's like, I don't like what you said about me. It's not true. I don't agree with that. And then sure enough, Shudai's like, well, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Yes, going to Hana, obviously knowing the fact that she has the voice for it. Like she's going to be the one that is born with what you need. She's got that innate talent. It's in there. You got a really good voice, but your voice is doing all the lifting. Which, yes, would make sense to me. If she has this innate ability to produce a beautiful voice, she's not going to have the skill set. She's not going to know how to enunciate. She's not going to know what to draw, what letters, what syllables, all kind of stuff, which we got into quite a bit in this episode, which was some interesting stuff in there. And obviously, a lot of that, it has to do with how Japanese speak and how some words can technically have similar meaning. I mean, the easy example is kawaii versus kwai. I mean, they're two different, very different things, depending on how you draw that I at the end of it. The two words, they're two different meanings. You don't want to go up to a little adorable baby and say kawaii. You want to say kawaii. Otherwise, the parents are going to be pretty mad at you. It's similar to that kind of stuff, and it's super interesting stuff that I catch most of it, but it is very much so probably a lot of stuff that they even on their side have to deal with, especially with dialects and the established Japanese itself. So very interesting stuff if you want to dig into it. But anyways, she got to figure all that stuff out. Matsuyuki, he's monotonous, sleep-inducing. But I agree there. And again, this kind of plays into a little bit they kind of tipped into with the previous episode is, yes, getting into the fact that this dude's smart. This dude he's overcome a lot of things by just pushing to learn. He puts a lot of effort into his studies. And it seems like, yeah, that technically could be a really good thing that he could utilize for it. He might not have a great announcing voice quite yet, but if he can create that stuff and prepare well enough beforehand, which again, they got into in this episode, breaking down all these different words and how to say them, that's where he can use his smarts to prepare really well. So they're already kind of giving a nice little kind of all-around team here, which is interesting because, yes, it's kind of indicated the idea that each one of them is going to prepare their own thing and they're going to compete separately, but they as a team can technically support each other before they get to that point. And I think that's what they're kind of establishing here. But yes, that's when they bring up, oh yeah, what's an example of good stuff? And they bring up Shura Sainji, which again, I think she was the one that they showed right at the very beginning. That was the one that inspired Hana. It's what made her want to become, into recital, all that kind of stuff. She absolutely blows everybody away. But An doesn't like her. Well, no, it kind of indicated that they all had a similar sense here. It was only Kichijoji that was like, no matter what you're entitled to your opinion, but she's still incredible. Like, whatever she did after then, I don't really care. What matters the fact that she's damn good at what she does. But yes, it seems like everybody in that club seemed to be on the same page that while she was incredible, nobody likes her because, as An puts it, she basically exploited what she did. I hate her. She disrespected the cup because after she won, she went out and sold a whole bunch of stuff. She went out and sold out DVDs and CDs and everything. And she got bashed online for exploiting everything that she did with the club. And I guess that's a Japanese thing. I don't understand that. Because again, I guess that makes sense because if you go into a club and you're joining together with a bunch of other people, you go in and compete. And because you won there, you utilize your efforts there to make money outside of it. Which I don't get. It kind of makes me believe that there's more sense here that there is going to be, again, like I said earlier, this idea of a club itself competing together, which again goes counter to the idea of each of them preparing something going forward and winning by themselves for their club of their school. Because I don't really see again, it's got to be a Japanese thing because I wouldn't see myself getting mad about that. Like that would be like in school being in a basketball club and because you guys won the national cup or whatever for your high school or whatever, you get signed into a deal with Nike and everybody gets mad at you for doing that. What? No? But again, with that case, I guess, yes, people would probably see, but we as a team won that cup. Whereas, again, with recital, it seems like you're one person on the stage. It doesn't make much sense, but I mean, you do you. I guess that's the whole point here is they're really kind of, it seems like and there's a similar sense to a couple other people that there is a sense here where this is a camaraderie and that we do this together. It's about the club. The club is what makes it to the end. Don't exploit it. Don't look down upon it. Work together. Yada, yada, yada. But again, counter to Ann's whole thing in the previous episode, it felt like she just was doing her own thing and she didn't really care about what other people are doing. I don't know. It's a little weird, and maybe they'll get more into it later on, but it is what it is. But it was cool to get into what makes Saionji special, and the idea that it seems like she puts a lot of effort into altering the original work in a way in how she presents it. And the idea that, yes, in the original work, yes, you could yell these lines, but what she did is she put emotion into it. Rather than, again, putting a lot of gestures into expression of her emotions, she doesn't have to. Her voice carries the entire dialogue, and she gets that same emotion across even without yelling. It's a very interesting kind of way of kind of taking it, because I can totally see that being, yes, you get that same sense that she's upset, even though she doesn't have to vocally yell. But again, that gets into Kishishoji basically saying, hey, yeah, you want to take it seriously? That's who you're up against. Do you want to take it seriously? Let's go. If you think you can beat that, let's do this. And again, it does feel like it's like a sense of, it's a bit of a nasty take on inspiring them. Not doing a very good job of inspiring people. But again, that was that whole idea when he first came in the door. I have this over here. If you don't want to take it serious, I have this over here. You could probably, this would be so much more fun. Leave this place. No, we want to be here. Do you want to be here? Okay, this is what you got to beat. Do you want to do this still? So it was in the end, the dude's clever. The dude's clever in the end. But yeah, that's when we get in the whole, I was going to call it Yuri baiting. It's really a lot to do with Hana. And again, getting a little bit of a look into Mizuki about their lives, going over to stay over at Mizuki's place. Get that beginning segment where she wants her to call her by her first name. Hana can't do it. I like how at the very end, after everything that happens, she's finally able to call her Mizuki senpai. That was super cute. But yeah, getting into Mizuki's house, and again, getting that sense of she's there alone. Again, it's complicated. I really do probably feel there's probably something that happened with the parents, which is unfortunate. But yeah, her living there alone. She apparently is into really old movies like, yes, Back to the Future, Men in Black, Jurassic Park. There was another one I didn't really catch it, but yeah, a lot of really old American movies. And then, yes, getting a little bit into Mizuki's past, which I pretty much got into already, about the idea that she didn't take it seriously, but she joined it. And yeah, getting into the fact that she at some point accepted it's something that she wanted to do. Again, another thing that sort of gives me an indication that it's probably parental problems is I do see it often with the cases of somebody who they usually say the idea of, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to win. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put it all in. I'm going to give it my all. I don't want to lose, basically. I think that probably is typically kind of a sign that they've had experience in the past with, again, parents that even though they were supposed to be married, which again is the dedication of their life, they stopped halfway. They gave up or whatever. So again, another thing that probably makes me believe that her parents are probably divorced or something like that. They gave up. They didn't see it through, whatever. But we'll see. But yes, most of that was all triggered by Hana kind of expressing her difficulties. And the idea that everybody's preparing. She feels kind of that she's the only one that's not taking it seriously. She's in a room full of people that are all saying, we're going to give it our all, we're going to win this cup and all that kind of stuff. And she feels out of place. And I can definitely see that, because what we presented Hana as a character is coming into this is that she did this for fun. And it's about the only thing that people like her for. Like, this is the thing that gets her the attention. This is what everybody looks up to her for. Everybody adores her for this. And so I can see her getting herself so pigeonholed into the idea of this. It's just like what we got, established in the first episode. This is a girl who she feels everybody looks up to her. All these children look up to her. And so she can't want things. And so she pigeonholed herself. She put herself in this position. And there's another sense of there of like, I kind of wish the parents would kind of step in there a little more and say, look, there's more to you than this. You don't have to always do this. But they allowed that to kind of happen. Again, the mom was very much so clear. I think she's gotten herself into a point where she can't ask for things, even though it was always welcome. Again, here, I got myself pigeonholed into the idea that everything about me is this one thing, and thus we reveal I'm afraid that if I don't do it well, if I'm compared to other people, if I go into a competition, people are going to realize that I'm not that good. And thus this one thing that I have will not be there anymore. People will think that I'm completely useless, that I am nothing. This one thing that I have, I'm going to lose. And yeah, oof. Yeah, that's not a very, that's a very bad place to have yourself putting. Again, another thing where I'm like, God, I wish the parents would have caught this, but it's like, how do you? When a child is so accepting of things and doesn't express things much, you don't really get a sense of what they're really thinking. And it's thankful that Mizuki is here to finally be the one that kind of opens that door and says, hey, I can talk. Do you want to talk? Hey, I'm here to listen. Do you want to say something? And Hana's finally able to express that. She's finally comfortable with somebody, again, that she sees as a sister or a big sister, whatever, that she's able to finally express that to. Somebody her age that she can finally speak to, which she's, again, been isolated into a community that has nothing but children that look up to her and a bunch of parents that she can't talk to. It's unsettling thing. And again, definitely something I can see with her character, something that she can, again, pigeonhole herself into at some point in her life. I do like the fact that even though Hana, in expressing all that, you can technically get a sense of like, girl, you're taking this way too damn seriously. You really shouldn't have put this to be so much of your life. I like how Mizuki almost kind of brings it up of like, you're taking it too seriously. But then she also admits at some point, I know how you feel. Like, I do the same thing. I take it too seriously. Like, she almost kind of relates to her in a way and says, like, I know what it's like to overthink things, basically. So it was sweet. A really, really sweet segment. But yeah, great episode overall. I think I've yapped way too much for this episode. I knew I would. Such good stuff. Really looking forward to more. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment, let me know what's that episode. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Like this content, you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.